Hi Reddit. I'm 45. Been married for 20 years. 2 kids, both in college. I work in logistics, manage a team, nothing glamorous but solid. Bills get paid. Roof stays up. I'm not flashy. I've worn the same brand of jeans since 2003. I play the lottery. Not obsessively. Maybe once a week. A ticket here, a scratch off there. It's a habit. Something about it, the tiny, ridiculous chance, made me feel like I still had a wild card in my back pocket. Like, maybe one day, life would just say here, you earned it. My wife, Trisha, hated it. She thought it was childish. Wasteful. You'd be better off burning $5 and at least getting some heat out of it, she once said. Every time she caught me scratching a ticket or checking numbers, I got the look. Disappointment mixed with disgust. Like I was sneaking cigarettes or texting an ex. So I stopped doing it around her. That didn't mean I stopped doing it. I kept a few tickets hidden in the glove box. Sometimes I'd stop for gas and quietly grab a Powerball with my receipt. Never made a big deal of it. Never expected anything. We weren't struggling, but we weren't thriving either. Our marriage had become quiet, predictable, robotic. She ran the house. I ran to work. We both ran out of things to say to each other about 10 years ago. The kids were the glue. Once they left for college, the silence got louder. We didn't fight much, but when we did, it was always about wasting money. Vacations we didn't take. Repairs I didn't schedule. That damn gym membership she hadn't used in 11 months. Once I mentioned wanting to build a small deck out back. She looked at me like I'd asked for a yacht. We don't need a deck. We need savings. We're not 20 anymore. She wasn't wrong, but she also wasn't happy. Neither was I. So I kept playing. Just 1 ticket a week. My numbers were always the same. Birthdays. Anniversary. The number of years we've been married. At some point, I stopped hoping they'd win. It became ritual. Then, one Wednesday night, I was checking the numbers alone in my car outside the grocery store. I almost didn't bother. I already had the losing ticket sigh loaded in my throat. Then I saw the first number match. Then the second. Then the third. My chest went still. By the time I got to the 6th number, I felt like I was underwater. I checked it again. And again. It was real. Not a million. 9. After taxes. A little over 5.4. I didn't scream. I didn't punch the air. I just sat there. In silence. And I decided, right then, I wasn't telling anyone. Not yet. I went home that night and acted like nothing had happened. Trisha was on the couch watching a true crime doc. She didn't look up. Just said, "Did you get milk?" I handed her the bag, sat down, and watched a man talk about hiding bodies in the crawl space while my own secret buzzed in my chest like an electric fence. That night, I didn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling and thought about everything. What would I do with it? What could I do? I didn't have a yacht fantasy. I didn't want a Lamborghini or a penthouse. I just wanted peace. Maybe a cabin. Maybe to finally quit the job where everyone called me boss, but treated me like a doormat. But I knew one thing immediately. If Trisha found out too soon, it'd all go sideways. She wouldn't celebrate. She'd see it as a way out. Or a way in, into my head, my control, my decisions. We'd fight about every cent. I needed time to think. So I went about life like always. Woke up, coffee, work, home, repeat. But inside, everything had shifted. I started watching people differently. The guy at work who always borrowed $20 and forgot. My cousin who just needed help till Friday. Trisha's voice when she said, "We can't afford anything fun." The bitterness. The control. It made me feel like I was sitting behind one-way glass. Like I wasn't in the same world anymore. Every time I looked at her, I heard her voice from last year when I mentioned buying a small fishing boat. What? So you can play hillbilly millionaire and break your neck alone on a lake. Now I could buy a fleet. But I didn't. I went to work every day. I smiled when people made jokes about someone hitting the jackpot. I kept my ticket in a safety deposit box and opened a separate account under a trust name. My lawyer helped me do it clean. Quiet. Legal. I made no sudden moves. Just watched. Trisha noticed something. "You've been weird lately. Tired. You're always tired. This is different." I shrugged. She looked at me longer than usual, then turned back to her phone. She started checking my phone at night. I let her. There was nothing to find. No texts. No calls. Just notes to myself. Things I might want to do. Places I might go. People I might actually want to be around again. She got colder. Started making comments like, "Hope you're not planning anything stupid. If I ever found out you were hiding something, I swear. She didn't know how right she was. And I didn't know yet just how bad she'd react when she found out. 3 weeks passed. I started making quiet moves. Nothing flashy. No luxury car. No big purchases. Just preparation. I moved some funds into that new account every few days, just under the radar. All legit. Lawyers said I was doing everything by the book. Trisha got more suspicious the quieter I got. She started asking strange questions. You seeing someone? I laughed. She didn't. You've been checked out lately. Emotionally. That was rich coming from her. She'd been emotionally on airplane mode for a decade. If something's going on, I deserve to know. Nothing's going on. She didn't believe me. I started noticing she was going through drawers, my coat pockets, even my glove box. Once, I came home early and caught her in the garage, flipping through the storage bins. Looking for the old photo albums, she said. We hadn't touched those in 5 years. I knew what she was really looking for. But the ticket was safe. Bank vault. No paper trail. She'd never find it. Still, something had shifted between us. The tension wasn't silent anymore. It was heavy. She walked harder, sighed louder, slammed drawers just enough to make a point. We were in the same house, eating at the same table, but it felt like we were sitting on opposite sides of a Cold War. Meanwhile, I was thinking, planning, not about escaping. Not yet. Just how to do this right. How to not let the money ruin things. Maybe set up college funds for the kids. Maybe pay off my brother's mortgage. Maybe disappear for a week just to breathe and think. But every time I looked at Trisha, I heard her voice again, tearing down every dream I ever floated. You think that's realistic? We don't have money for that. Grow up. Now I had the money, and I didn't want to share it with someone who never believed in me. Not because I'm petty, because I finally understood what I was worth. And to her, I was worth exactly 0, unless I was paying bills. One night, she asked if I'd take her to dinner. Just us. That hadn't happened in years. Sure, we went. Basic steakhouse. She dressed up a little. I didn't comment. The food was average. The conversation forced. Then she hit me with it. You're hiding something. I looked at her. Calm. Why do you think that? Because I know you. And this quiet act. You're not that good at faking it. Maybe I'm just tired. No, you're up to something. She stared at me like she could dig it out of my skull if she just focused hard enough. I didn't blink. I didn't confirm anything. And she left that dinner more suspicious than ever. Which was fine, because what happened next would shatter whatever version of us she thought still existed. It became official on a Tuesday morning. I was at the bank, sitting across from a very serious-looking manager, holding documents that didn't feel real in my hands. The kind of money you read about. Not win, not touch. And yet, there it was. Signed, sealed, cleared, and transferred. $5.4 million. Clean. Untouchable. I had it set up in a trust, just like my lawyer told me to. Different name. Different access. No connection to joint accounts. No paper trail leading back to Trisha. He looked at me and said, You're in a rare position, sir. Don't rush decisions. I nodded. I wasn't rushing anything. That night at home, I cooked. I never cook. Trisha came downstairs halfway through and stared at the kitchen like I was building a rocket. You okay? Just felt like it. Weird. She didn't smile. Didn't sit. Just hovered, like I might slip up and say something stupid. I didn't. We ate in silence. She complimented nothing. Asked nothing. After dinner, she brought out a bottle of wine. This feel like a celebration to you? She asked. No. You sure? You're walking around like you just beat cancer or something. I just poured her a glass and changed the subject. She didn't push. Not yet. But she was definitely circling. Next day, I booked a private appointment with a financial advisor outside of town. Neutral location. Different name. All in the trust's name. We talked investments, foundations, long-term planning. I asked about anonymous giving, future property, travel accounts, offshore protection. He said I was smart to move carefully. Said most winners blow it all in 5 years. Not me. I wasn't buying boats. I wasn't buying friends. I wasn't buying her affection back. I was buying options. Control. Freedom. Back home, things were quieter. Too quiet. Trisha didn't argue anymore. She stopped with the sarcastic comments. She started playing nice, made my coffee in the mornings, folded my shirts, started talking about maybe planning a getaway this fall. I knew what that meant. She thought she had me back on the leash. She thought I'd finally settled, but I hadn't said a word about the win. And every day that passed, her instincts got louder. One night, I caught her watching me from the hallway while I was brushing my teeth. She said nothing, just stared, like she was waiting for me to explode into confetti and reveal the jackpot inside. Instead, I turned off the light and walked past her like she wasn't even there. Because part of me already knew. As soon as she found out, she tried to take it. Not ask, take. And I was getting ready for that storm. I started slow, small things. Upgraded my phone, not flashy, just newer. Bought a pair of decent shoes. Filled the fridge with the kind of groceries I usually talk myself out of. Trisha noticed. Since when do we buy imported coffee? Felt like it. She didn't press. Not at first. But 2 days later, I came home and found her going through the mail pile like a detective. Every envelope opened. Every receipt turned over. Looking for something. Just checking what came today. Anything good? She didn't answer. Next week, I took a day off work and drove out 2 counties over. Bought myself a second-hand truck. Clean. Reliable. Nothing wild. No lifted tires or chrome. But it ran like a dream. Paid in cash. Put it under the trust. Drove it home and parked it in the driveway like I'd had it for years. Trisha came out to look. What's this? Upgraded. Old one was dying. With what money? Savings. We don't have that kind of savings. Guess we did. That night, she barely spoke to me. She wasn't mad. She was calculating. I gave her daughter a surprise Venmo for her birthday, double what we usually send. Trisha saw the notification and said, "Little generous this year." Huh. She's working hard. Let her have fun. She didn't argue, just nodded slowly. That same night, I caught her scrolling Google for how to tell if your husband is hiding money. I didn't touch the jackpot account directly. Everything flowed through the trust. Clean, quiet, protected. I let Trisha think maybe I got a raise. Maybe a bonus. She started testing me. One morning, she casually said, "Remember that trip we never took? To Colorado? Maybe we should go." I shrugged. Maybe. We could afford it now, right? You tell me. She smiled. Forced. Tight. What's going on with you, Adam? What do you mean? You're calm. Like too calm. Isn't that a good thing? She stared at me a long time, then turned and walked out. The next day, she cleaned the house top to bottom. Like deep cleaned. Even the garage. She was looking for something. She found nothing. Because everything she thought she knew about me, how I operated, what I hid, was outdated. She was playing checkers. I was playing chess. But I knew it was coming. The moment she realized she couldn't find it, couldn't sniff it out, couldn't control it, she was going to lose it. And when she did, that's when things would explode. It happened on a Saturday afternoon. I was out back, cleaning the grill, thinking about booking a solo trip just to breathe. Something quiet. Mountains, no cell signal. Trisha was inside, talking to her sister on speakerphone. I wasn't listening, but the volume was loud enough through the open window. Then I heard it. You know, he always seemed like the type who'd win the lottery and not say a damn word, her sister said, laughing. Trisha paused. Why would you say that? Didn't you hear? Someone from your husband's area won that massive Powerball last month. Big win. They're saying it was an anonymous claim. Could have been anybody. Silence. Then Trisha's voice dropped flat. No, I didn't hear. My stomach didn't drop. My hands didn't shake. I just waited. 30 seconds later, the back door slammed open. Adam. I turned. She was standing in the doorway barefoot, phone still in her hand, face frozen in that expression people get when they realize they miss something massive. Was it you? I didn't answer. Don't lie to me. Why would I lie? Because you lie about everything when you want control. I set the grill brush down. What did you hear exactly? Someone won. No name released. From here. And you've been acting weird for weeks. That's not proof. So tell me, was it you? I look her dead in the eye. Yes. Silence. Nothing but birds for a beat. Then she laughed. One sharp, empty sound. You bastard. I wasn't ready to tell you. You were never going to tell me. I was figuring it out. Figuring out how to ditch me. No. Figuring out how to not lose my mind. You owe me that money, Adam. That part. That's what did it. Not we. Not our family. Not us. You owe me. She spiraled. Immediately. Started yelling. Pacing. Throwing out accusations like darts in a bar fight. You planned this. You've been hiding it from start. You made a fake account. Legally filed through a trust. You're cheating, aren't you? No. Is this about punishing me? No. Then what the hell is it about? I stayed quiet, because I already knew nothing I said would matter. She didn't want truth. She wanted control back. That night, she didn't speak to me. Slammed doors. Sat in the dark living room. Scrolled her phone like she was building a war plan. And I slept better than I had in months. Because now it was out. And the real storm hadn't even started yet. The next morning, she was up early. Dressed. Makeup on. Not speaking. By noon, I got a text from her while I was upstairs in my own house. We need to talk. Now. I came down to find her sitting at the table with a yellow legal pad and a laptop open. What's this? My list. Of what? What you owe me. She said it so casually, like we were finalizing a business deal. I sat down. Quiet. Watching. You won the money during our marriage, she said. That makes it marital property. We're not divorced. Not yet. She slid the pad toward me. There were numbers. Ridiculous ones. Emotional damages. Future losses. Back pay for years of support. She even had the nerve to include the cost of groceries and furniture she claimed I never appreciated. You're not serious. I'm dead serious. This is a starting point. Starting point for what? If you want to keep this civil, you'll transfer me 60%. Today, I stared at her. You think that's how this works? I think if you fight me, I'll take it all. On what grounds? She leaned forward. Fraud. Financial secrecy. Betrayal. I've been speaking to a lawyer. I didn't flinch. Good. So have I. That shook her a bit. You can't hide money like that. I didn't. I claimed it legally. Set up a trust. All above board. You were going to leave me out of it. I didn't trust you. I'm your wife. Exactly. That shut her up. The rest of the day, she kept pushing. Little stabs. Calling family. Whispering that I blindsided her. Posting cryptic quotes online about greed and lies. She was building her army. Or trying to. But no one bit. Our kids were grown. Busy. Detached from the drama. Friends stayed quiet. Most of them probably saw this coming long before I did. That night, she came into our bedroom. Last chance, she said. You can fix this. There's nothing to fix. You think she'll stay with you once it all comes out? Who? Whoever you've got stashed on the side. Because no one goes silent about a win like that unless they've got an exit plan. You're wrong. No, Adam. I'm never wrong. Then she left the room. Slammed the door like a punchline. She wasn't trying to stay married. She was trying to cash out. And I was almost impressed by how fast she turned. Almost. But not surprised. Not anymore. A week later, I was served. Not shocked. I knew it was coming. Petition for divorce. Filed by Trisha. Grounds. Irreconcilable differences, financial deception, and abandonment of marital obligations. I handed the envelope to my lawyer, who read it without blinking. It's weak, he said. She's reaching. Can she touch the money? No. It was claimed legally, post-tax, structured under a trust in your name only. She can fight, but she won't win. I nodded. I'd already made peace with the court battle, but I wasn't going in swinging. I was going in ready. Trisha escalated quickly. Started messaging our kids. Your father's hiding money. He's destroying our family. Try to turn them against me. Didn't work. Our daughter wrote back. I'm not taking sides, but I'm not stupid either. Our son didn't reply at all. She started showing up at my work. Once stood in the lobby pretending to drop off lunch. She never brought me lunch in 20 years. Security had to ask her to leave. She posted on Facebook, when greed takes over love, the whole family suffers. A week later, she had to turn off comments. Meanwhile, I stayed quiet. Never clapped back. Didn't respond to texts that started with "you'll regret this." Didn't take calls that ended with "you're not the man I married." Because she was right. I wasn't. Not anymore. Then came her mistake. She broke into the house. Technically still her address. Yes, but I had already filed a motion for exclusive occupancy while proceedings were underway. We were supposed to alternate days. She wasn't allowed in that night. But she came in anyway, tore through the office, knocked over files, opened locked drawers, took photos of anything that looked legal. She didn't know there were cameras. The lawyer smiled when I sent him the footage. That'll go over well with the judge. You think she's trying to rattle me? She's panicking. Panic people get sloppy. Let her keep going. And so I did. I let her dig her own legal grave. She wanted 60%. She was about to get served a different kind of number. Euro. But not just out of revenge. Because I realized something. This wasn't about money anymore. It was about principle. I gave her 20 years. She gave me threats and court dates. And I wasn't giving her a damn cent more. The courtroom was colder than I expected. Not the temperature, the energy. Like everyone already knew how this was going to go. Trisha walked in like she was ready to win an Oscar. Hair done. Black dress. No eye contact with me. Her lawyer looked bored. Probably because he'd heard her version too many times already. I was calm. I didn't bring family. No need. My lawyer had a folder so thick it could stop a bullet. The judge came in. Old school guy. Didn't smile. Didn't look up much. Just started reading. We're here today to determine the division of marital assets and assess claims made by both parties. Trisha's lawyer stood first. Tried to paint me as secretive, distant, unwilling to communicate after acquiring unexpected financial resources. They didn't even say the word lottery. Just danced around it. Then Trisha took the stand. I supported him for 20 years. I ran our home. I gave up career opportunities. I was a wife. A good one. She got misty-eyed. I never asked for much. Just honesty. He shut me out. He kept secrets. He planned to leave me behind. My lawyer didn't object. He didn't need to. He waited. When it was our turn, he slid a flash drive across to the clerk. Security cam footage. Her breaking in, opening drawers, snapping photos. Then the printouts, text messages, bank records, her lists of what I owed her. The judge read them in silence. My lawyer finally spoke. My client did not hide money. He lawfully claimed a prize under his own name, created a trust, and retained full legal ownership. There was no fraud, no commingling of funds, and the petitioner acted against court orders to attempt to access confidential materials. Trisha's face changed. Not sad. Cornered. She tried to speak again. The judge cut her off. Mrs. Harper, do you dispute that this footage is you entering the property on a night you were not permitted to be there? I was retrieving personal items. You were opening locked drawers and photographing legal documents. Because he was hiding, you were not authorized. Silence. The judge sighed. I don't like games in my courtroom. Then he read the ruling. Final. Fast. No claim to the trust. No spousal support. No compensation for emotional labor. She would walk away with her own savings account, her car, and the furniture she brought into the marriage. That's it. Her jaw didn't drop. She didn't cry. She just sat there. Still. Like her world had frozen. I didn't look at her. I just signed the papers, shook my lawyer's hand, and walked out. I didn't celebrate after the ruling. No champagne. No party. I just went home, changed into an old hoodie, and sat on the porch with a cup of coffee that wasn't bitter for once. I'd won. Not just the case. Not just the money. I'd won back my life. I took a few weeks off work. Traveled up north. Mountains. Air that didn't smell like someone else's drama. No cell signal. No court filings. No sideways looks across a dinner table. Just peace. I made a few quiet donations, anonymously. Paid off the student loans for a kid I used to coach. Helped a retired neighbor get her roof redone. Nothing loud. Nothing for show. I didn't need anyone to know. Especially not her. Trisha moved into a condo on the other side of town. Word got around that she'd tried dating again, a guy from her yoga class. Didn't last long. I heard from my daughter that she still complains. Still says I changed overnight. Still tells people I blindsided her with money. Let her talk. People like her need an audience more than they need truth. A month after the final court date, I got a letter in the mail. No return address. Just one sentence, handwritten on plain white paper. You didn't even fight for us. I didn't respond. Because that sentence was the most honest thing she'd ever said. She was right. I didn't fight. Because I was done fighting for someone who only saw me as a paycheck and a backup plan. She wasn't mourning me. She was mourning the lifestyle she thought she was entitled to, and the money she lost. 6 months later, I bought a little place out by the lake. Single story. Big trees. A wide porch. Somewhere no one expected me to be. Somewhere no one could storm in yelling. It's not big. Not expensive. But it's mine. Every piece of wood. Every shingle. Every key. Mine. And the lottery money? Still there. Most of it. I don't flash it. I don't live like I won the jackpot. Because truth is, I didn't. The real win wasn't numbers on a ticket. It was the moment I stopped asking for permission to be happy. Thanks for listening, Reddit. This wasn't about revenge. It was about remembering who I was before someone else decided I wasn't enough. Now, I remember every day, and I don't need $1 more to feel rich again. See you later.